see a silly face. Whoa. Walking along and smiling at me.
I don't see what you mean.
'Cause you're not thinking creatively.
Hello everybody, this is Tyler here once again from the Character Workshop, talking about something completely different than what I was supposed to. Yeah, so unfortunately the Dalek 44 Q&A video that I had planned for this episode has been postponed because I have yet to receive footage from Dalek 44 himself, so until I get his footage for the episode, I will have to postpone the Q&A until a future episode. But thankfully, I did have a plan B in case this was going to happen. And perfect timing, too, because, you know, June 19th is coming up, and if you could tell from that clue right there, and of course the title of the video, of course, that I'm going to be talking about the creepy, disturbing, but yet very interesting YouTube series, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I'm sure some of you who are watching this episode probably already know what Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is, but to those of you who don't know what it is, this episode will pretty much be talking about all 6 episodes, a few fan theories here and there, because this is definitely a show that, like, makes you question, like, what's really going on. And, of course, some other stuff relating to Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. So, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is a British puppet series that ran from 2011 all the way to 2016 on YouTube. And the series was created by 2 people under the names Becky and Joe. And the first episode came out around 2011. And the first episode was pretty much about the 3 main characters, which I might as well talk about the 3 main characters right now. So the series focuses on 3 different characters, the first one being under the name The Red Guy. Just to let you guys know, none of the 3 main characters have official names, so I'm just going to refer to them by their color / what they are. So the Red Guy is pretty much just a full-bodied character with a mop as a head, and pretty much talks in a monotone voice, seems very bored most of the times, doesn't find a whole lot of things to be interesting. And then there's the Green Guy, the Duck Guy, whatever you want to call him. I kind of refer to him as the Duck Guy because, well, he's a duck. Pretty much, I guess you can say he's the smart one in the group, the one kind of questioning what, you know, the teachers are teaching them in each episode. And it's just interesting to note that, like, his voice does have a bit of an auto-tune sound here and there. Like, if you listen to his voice very well, you can kind of tell it's been auto-tuned. I'll show you guys a couple examples right now.
That's not enough time. Oh, look, there he goes, flying through the sky.
A mountains? A sky? A windmill?
No. Something's missing.
And then the third main character is known by the Yellow Guy, who's pretty much just, you know, happy-go-lucky, naive, a bit dumb at times. He's pretty much kind of represents, like, the child of the group, and I will touch more on that as this episode goes on. So now that I got the characters out of the way, let's talk about the episodes. So in the first episode, the 3 main characters are just simply sitting down in a kitchen, but then a notepad comes to life, teaches them how to be creative, and then afterwards, when she lets them do creative things, it gets a little bit weird, where, like, they start, like, using body parts to be creative and all that stuff. Just go watch the first episode. You guys will see what I'm talking about. And then after the whole crazy shenanigans happens, the notepad's like, well, let's not be creative again. So as I mentioned, the first episode came out around 2011, and then it wasn't until 3 years later when episode 2 came out in 2014, and the second episode was about the 3 main characters about to watch their favorite TV show. A clock comes to life, teaches them about time and how you should use it, or at least how the clock says you should use time. And then eventually cuts to the 3 main characters eventually deteriorating, getting of old age, having body parts falling off. Yeah, in case you guys couldn't tell from the descriptions of the first 2 episodes, the series does get, it starts off pretty cheerful, but then, like, gets really, really dark near the very end, and that's pretty much what goes on in the show. Third episode comes around, the 3 main characters are having a picnic, the Yellow Guy sees a butterfly, and then the Duck Guy just, like, squishes the butterfly with the fly swatter, calls it a pesky bee for some reason. I don't know. That line in particular is probably one of my favorite unintentionally funny lines mentioned on the show. I don't know, just gives me a crack every time I watch it. Yellow guy gets upset about it, flees, gets upset, and then there's another butterfly comes around. This time it actually talks, and the butterfly pretty much teaches the yellow guy about love, or at least what he considers to be love. There's also bits of irony here and there when he tells the yellow guy about love. And then afterwards, it gets to the point where, like, the yellow guy starts to, like, I guess be a part of a cult. Like, they have him strapped to a chair and then tell him that, you know, he needs to change his name, clean his brain, all this weird stuff. Like, it goes from, like, teaching about love to, like, I guess, sort of being about being part of a cult. I don't know. Some people interpreted it as being religion or a cult. I don't know. But then the yellow guy wakes up, sort of showing that it's kind of like a dream. And then the red guy and the duck guy then come by and, you know, apologize to him for earlier. And then they give him the last hard-boiled egg to cheer him up. Then the episode ends with, like, a weird creature coming out of the egg, and then the duck guy just squishing him with the fly swatter again, once again calling him a pesky bee. Yeah, that was the third episode in a nutshell, or an eggshell. Fourth episode comes around. The three main characters are playing a board game. One of the cards has a question saying, what's the biggest thing in the world? What's funny, at first they were gonna ask a globe about it. Like, there's a joke, like, in the episode where they just look at that globe, expecting it to come alive and tell them what the biggest thing in the world is. But then it cuts to a computer who talks about how smart he is, how good he is at doing what he does, instead of answering their question, what the biggest thing in the world is. And then later on, the computer guy takes him into the virtual world where he shows the three main characters that there are three fun things to do in the digital world. Looking at charts, digital dancing, digital style. And then the cycle repeats. The red guy just stares at the computer and then, like, tries to find a way to unplug it, sees a wire, follows it, goes out the door. And then you see pretty much three fake props pretty much imitating the events of the first episode. And then the red guy's head gets blown off. This is kind of when the series starts to become really, you know, crazy and out of ordinary. Episode 5 comes up. The duck guy and the yellow guy are sitting in the kitchen, realizing that something's missing. That's right, the red guy from the 4th episode doesn't show up with the rest of the main characters in episode 5. Which sort of means that, like, you know, the events of the previous episode follow into this episode. So then while they're in the kitchen, a bunch of food comes to life and teaches them how to be healthy, or at least their interpretation of being healthy, or what they say they should eat, which are bread, aspic, white sauce, and cream. Yeah, definitely sounds like appetizing stuff. And then they pretty much tell the guys, the main characters, that, like, all other foods are considered unhealthy. They'll give them great teeth, great gums. The duck guy then finally sees that something's not right here, tries to leave, but then I guess you can kind of say gets captured, and then a bunch of giant food cans then start eating his insides. And then later on, at the very end of the episode, you see the yellow guy all fattened up, and you can see, like, cans and, like, organs everywhere, which gives you the indication that, like, yes, the yellow guy actually eat the duck guy. And then throughout the entire episode, like, there's a phone ringing, and, like, the duck guy, you know, tries to answer it, but, like, it either, like, cuts to something else or just doesn't answer at all. And it is revealed at the very end of the episode that the red guy is the one who's, like, trying to call them. So I think that's all I gotta say about the episode. Like, it's about this time in the series, after the 5th episode, that, like, fans were like, yeah, something's going on with this show. And that's when fan theories have started to, like, spew out about what's been going on in the show up until this point. And now episode 6, the final episode for the series. It starts off with the yellow guy about to go to bed, missing both the red guy and the duck guy from the previous episodes. He's about to go to sleep, but then a lamp comes to life, wakes him up, teaches him about dreams, and then it cuts to the yellow guy, not the yellow guy, the red guy, who is sleeping in an office, and there's a bunch of other red guys working there as well who look exactly like him, they sound like him. And the red guy, you know, tries to make, you know, working, like, fun, like he pretends to, like, have a file come to life and sing a song, and then the other red guy's like, that sounds really boring. So then later on, he goes to a, I guess, club, you can kind of say, and performs on stage, takes off all his normal clothes, goes back to, I guess, being naked like he was in the previous episodes, and then starts to sing the creative song from the first episode, but then gets booed off stage by all the other red guys in the audience. But then he gets noticed by Roy, and I guess I didn't talk about who Roy is. Roy is pretty much the yellow guy's father who was introduced in the second episode, and makes, like, background appearances in, like, every other episode since episode 2. And then it transitions to the red guy being in an empty black room where he goes into a machine, and apparently this machine is the one that's been controlling, like, all the teachers from the previous episodes that have been trying to teach the main characters, like, lessons. So then the red guy tries his best to, like, turn it off or something, but then, like, Roy then, like, reaches his really long arm out to get the red guy. The red guy then sees a plug, goes up to the big plug, and then, in his final words, "I wonder what will happen," unplugs it. And then the main characters are back in the kitchen from the very first episode. But this time the red guy is blue, the duck is green, not green, red, and then the yellow guy is green. If you guys don't know what that's supposed to mean, in the first episode, all three characters mention what their favorite colors are, and then at the end of episode 6, they are now their favorite colors. And then the calendar switches from June 19th to June 20th, and then a notepad comes up, and then, yeah, the whole cycle starts off again. But yeah, that was pretty much what happened in those episodes. Some of you guys are probably like, what happens? What's going on? What's the story here? Well, the answer for that is, I'm not sure. There's really no official answer about what the story is for Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. What you see is pretty much what you get. The rest is on you. You know, you think about what actually goes on in the series, you have your own interpretations, all that stuff. And because of this, a lot of people on the internet have made theories as to what went on throughout Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, and I might as well talk about those theories right now. So I guess the first theory that I'll talk about, and I guess it's kind of like the most well-known theory of the show, would probably be how Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is sort of a metaphor for the media. If you don't know what I mean by that, well, throughout the episodes, you see, like, a bunch of teachers teaching, you know, these three main characters, you know, everyday things, everyday objects and all that stuff. But they're teaching them, like, how they should do it, or at least, you know, how they want them to do it. Not like how it's normally done, but like how they do it. And that sort of resembles, like, how TV and I guess other forms of media have started becoming like a learning tool for some people, especially younger children. Which is kind of what Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared kind of parodies. It parodies your typical children's TV show. The theory also goes on to say that, like, Roy, the yellow guy's father, is the one, like, behind all this mess going on. Which is why you see him in the background of, like, every single episode of the show since episode 2. Also, if you watch the credits of each episode, you see Roy's name at the very end of each episode, which sort of gives the the indication that yes, Roy is behind all this. And then if you look in the backgrounds of each episode, you see like a bunch of products like with Roy's name on it, like Roy's Flakes, meaning that Roy is pretty much behind the media, at least according to this theory. Which this theory is further explained in episode 6 because, you know, Roy was in the back of the club watching Red Guy, seeing him as a possible candidate for his media stuff. And near the very end, he's trying to reach out to the Red Guy, I guess trying to make him stop trying to break the machine and all that stuff, breaking the media, I guess you can kind of say. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about the media theory. You guys can like look up more about this theory from like a variety of other people on YouTube. Another thing about the show that a lot of people talk about or question is the 19th of June. Now, if you watch every episode, you see that there is a calendar that always says June 19th. Now, some people have theorized that like, oh, the entire show takes place in one day, and other people are making other references to what June 19th could possibly mean. And there's been like a couple Easter eggs throughout the series, including one particular Easter egg from the second episode where you see a picture frame of the three main characters, and you see the numbers 19, 06, and then 55. Which a lot of people get the indication that the 55 stands for, oh, you know, this is the 19th of June, 1955. And a lot of people were like, what could this possibly mean? A lot of people say that the Queen's Correlation was broadcasted on television around this time. And before then, you know, TV wasn't really that popular in the UK, and yeah, a lot of people saw the Queen's Correlation from television, or at least from other people's TVs. So that made a lot of people in the UK interested in getting TVs, and that's pretty much what made TV popular in the UK. Other people also say that ITV came out around that time, and before ITV, BBC was the only TV channel in the UK before ITV came around and pretty much changed that. And then there was another one. This one was kind of, you know, a little bit crazy and coincidental, but like June 19th, 1955 was Father's Day. And which character on the show is a father to another character? Roy. That's pretty insane. So there's a good chunk of people that say the three main characters represents the three biggest target demographics for television. The yellow guy representing children, the red guy representing teenagers, young adults, and then the green guy represents the elderly, which, judging from like the Duck's outfits and the fact that in one episode he had a pocket watch, I could definitely see that. And also he had a pretty raspy voice. Not the auto-tune part, but like other parts of his voice that just make him sound a little bit older. An auto-tuned elderly person, that would be something. And to this very day, Don't Hug Me I'm Scared still remains to be one of YouTube's more popular shows out there. So much so that last year it was announced that Don't Hug Me I'm Scared will be getting a TV series. And I think it said it's supposed to come out sometime this year. There hasn't really been any other news besides the first announcement, but we'll see what happens in the future of Don't Hug Me I'm Scared. So that was Don't Hug Me I'm Scared. All 6 episodes, a bunch of fan theories, what's gonna go on in the future, all that stuff. Definitely one of YouTube's more interesting shows out there. Definitely weird, creepy, and out of ordinary, but that's one of the reasons why I like it so much. But anyways, if you guys want to see Don't Hug Me I'm Scared yourself, all 6 episodes are available on YouTube. Just type in Don't Hug Me I'm Scared and you'll probably see all 6 episodes on there. But that is about it for this episode of It Came From England. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, feel free to give it a like. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more episodes or just mediocre plush content in general. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think. that is about it. This is Tyler from the Character Workshop, signing out. And if the Dalek 44 thing doesn't happen next episode, then I do have a plan B. And in case it doesn't happen, I might as well tell you what next episode might be if Dalek 44, if I don't get his footage anytime soon. But better get your captain's hats on and mind your stars and mind your Zs, or Zs. But we are going to be going out sailing.
Here's another good tip of how to be a creative whiz kid. Go and collect some leaves and sticks and arrange them into your favourite colour.
Blue.
Red.
Green.
Green is not a creative colour. There's one more thing that you need to know before you let your creativity